example, the second show, one of the strategies that I had was to say, I saw after Madras Ida went on Amazon Prime, there's this general data that I was getting from people, which is that, hey bro, I love your stuff, I'm South Indian, I can totally get it, but man, it's so hard to make my North Indian friend watch it.
Yeah.
And
oh, really? People, that was a common theme.
That is a common theme, and I wasn't surprised because I was aware of these kind of inhibitions. Just being South Indian, you also forget being a comedian. You know what are the things that that works against and for us. But this particular data point, where hey bro, I'm like I have to force them. I have to tell them, okay, I'll watch one Hindi for call special of yours.
And then
in return, you assume this is a Tamil folk call special at the end of it, but you will mark my words. No, I love the kind of loyalty and passion that these people bring for someone like they've never seen me, man.
The North Indian guy, you mean, or
these are
the
South Indians
people who are trying to push it onto the North Indian in the hostel in the college, but he's just not having it.
In US, when they're all meeting on the weekends and they're like, hey, what do we binge watch tonight? Like there's a house get together. I'm getting these kind of data points, and I completely relate to it because I would do the same because I'm passionate about where I come from, and I feel the art here is really good. And in this Indian political scenario, South versus North, South always feels like we're hard done by. Like we don't get enough of attention. There's this stepson treatment, right? So I know, like if I was sitting there, I'll push a Kamal Hassan film. Yeah. I'll push a really cool indie flick out here and put to them a Bollywood lovers to say, hey guys, there's a lot of stuff happening here. So the same thing was happening to my shows, but I realized in my first special, which is Madras Ida, I kind of realized the first problem that I had was, since it's the first act that's coming out of me, it had a lot of Chennai stuff in it. Now, that wasn't planned because when I wrote those things, little did I know that it would be Amazon Prime or there would be this huge Indian market that you're going to be catering to, right? So I couldn't change that. When I recorded Amazon Prime, the least I could do was keep Tamil references to a minimum, but you can't change the Chennai experiences.
But dude, also, isn't that like... You have to start with your niche, and not that Chennai is a niche. I'm just saying you have to start with it and expand from there. Like you just said, Gabriel Iglesias is not gonna... And by the way, one thing I love with this North India, South India, when Indian audience members say that they don't like your brand of Indian comedy, it's not relatable because it's too South or too North or too NRI. But then they're like, you know who you should watch? Chris Rock. and he's like, black people, da-da-da. And you're like, how do you... You are fine relating to Gabriel about Mexican jokes in Basman Gudi, in Kormangala.
It's just proper bias.
It's proper
years
bias.
And years of bias.
And on the flip side, they see like my good friend Ahmed, who pulls a lot of feathers and is so right-wing, left-wing, I don't even know. But then people will watch him like, wow, he's like Garland. And I'm like, he's been doing it for like... So I'm not saying the audience isn't right. They have their opinions. But I hate it the most when people are like not happy with you, but they tell you somebody like Seinfeld, who is not even about anything. But my point is, would you rather have Amazon know that you got 5 million people watching you in Tamil Nadu or only 2 million pan-India? You know what I mean?
So I would do both. So that was what I was getting.
So you want 7 million.
Yeah, that was what I was getting at. Because if I feel I can do both and if it's challenging enough, I would like to embrace it. So I kind of saw that data point after Madras Ida, where people were like, hey, I made them watch it. They liked most of it, but there were the Tamil parts that I just couldn't do a good job of translating.
Of making it universal.
Yeah, because it's very hard. Like I did my best in the final tape version. But
did you pause and say like... Oh,
like I would do hey, know what
for the North Indians, FYI.
Yeah, I would do that. But I kind of, throughout the thing period, I realized like, okay, for my next special, I don't need to do this. I feel 85% of my first special was actually pan-Indian English enough. But that 15% was...
It hits you in the gut or whatever.
Yeah, so when they see the rest of the crowd lose their shit for the 15%, I've realized in retrospect when people come out, if they're not South Indian and they come out of Madras Ida, they always ended up focusing on that 15 more and made it look like half of my show was Tamil. Which to me was such a bummer. And especially when I look at my colleagues in Bombay and Delhi, having half of their stuff in Hindi.
Hey, what half? 80%.
And
wearing it with a badge of honor.
And being called Indian comics. To me, that pisses me off.
When it's all Hindi show, you mean?
When you come here on the pretext of an English stand-up comedy show and break into Hindi lines. Bro, and expecting Bangalore and Chennai to understand, why the fuck should we? So that time I kind of took a call when I wrote the second special. I was not ready. I said, okay, I'm going to write and workshop this only in clubs in Delhi and Bombay. So the whole thing, even though it was started in open mics in Chennai, I would not take it beyond that because now my Chennai crowd is a bias. Like they laugh at everything.
And because they're your fans, they'll be,
And anything I do in South India, they're going to like that. So therefore, I take 20-25 minutes of the 75-minute special. I split it into 3 chunks like that.
Yeah.
And programmed myself into these clubs over a period of time.
Okay.
While Madrasida was being taped, edited, I had a lot of time in my hands. So when I do the Wednesday to Sunday in those clubs, I would know out of the 25 that I had, how much of it actually is pan-Indian.
Sure.
Because those are people who are walking in randomly and checking me out. Like that's how Praveen and all, every time before I go to a club, I'll sit with Praveen and I'll sit and literally, even though he's Tamil in his approach to things, we take the challenge of saying, no, we can't use that joke, it's Tamil. We can't do this, it's Tamil. We can't do this, it's Tamil. And sometimes we'll just look at each other and be like, but bro, that's such a great joke. I'm like, I know, but I want to do this. I want to tell these people, I'll still be Chennai and be pan-Indian and accessible to you. I'll help you break that notion. And we can't do that by just being aggressive and saying, fuck you, you guys don't like us. You have to do it by making it aspirational for them. It has to be good enough for them as well. It should not be a competition where you make them feel horrible and then come and watch you. You make yourself feel accessible.
Birdy num num. Birdy num num. Birdy num num. Birdy num num.